Well, what's up again there, guys? Brian here, the 3 Topics Gamer, and I have a quick little State of Play review video to share with you guys today. Now, State of Play literally just ended like 3 minutes ago, so I just popped in my camera, started recording, and here we are. And I just wanted to give you my overall thoughts on everything that they revealed and just share my initial thoughts on everything that they showed. So if you do happen to enjoy this video by the end, please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to track me on my future videos. And remember, if you guys have any ideas for future rankings or top list videos or discussion videos in general, be sure to let me know in the comments down below, and I will be sure to try to get it up as soon as I can. So right off the back, I just want to say that this State of Play for January 31st, 2024 was much better than the last State of Play that they had, which really didn't show too much and didn't even reveal anything I was too interested into. But this time they had a whole slew of games that I knew about, but I kind of just want to see more about it in order to see if they would even pique my interest going into 2024. Because one of my biggest concerns for this year was that there really weren't too many games that I was interested in playing. But after seeing this, that list has definitely greatly expanded, and there's now a lot of games I certainly want to play in 2024, and I'm excited to play. So starting off with the first game that they revealed, that they kind of just showed more of, is of Helldivers 2. They showed just more gameplay of it. This is set to come out in about like 8 days, like on February 8th this year. And it's like just a squad 4-team based third-person action shooter. It's certainly something I could play with some friends or just some of my viewers online. I'll be sure to give it a shot when it plays. They didn't really need to show too much of it in order to just get me even a little bit more interested into. I was gonna give it a try either way. The next game that they showed was something that I do believe they revealed at the VGAs last year, and this was a game called Stellar Blade. They showed some story elements in terms of what the overall story was going to be, as well as a lot of gameplay, just some of the elements. This game reminded me, just atmosphere-wise, a lot of Nier Automata, so maybe they were inspired by that. Gameplay-wise, this reminds me a lot of games like Bayonetta and especially Devil May Cry, so when you add this type of elements and you include RPG elements, that always piques my interest. Whenever you can add RPG elements to any other genre, that's enough to get me interested. The combat looked really, really good. Visuals looked really, really good. And this game is set to come out on April 26th of this year. So this is definitely something that I absolutely will be playing when it comes out. The next game that they revealed was a game called Sonic X Shadow Generations. I've never been really much big Sonic fan. My brother was. I was more of a Mario fan. This game looks good, but then again, Sonic games, especially once they became 3D, have had a long history of the trailers making the game look good, but then when you actually play them, they're not very good at all. So I think I'm just going to steer away from this Sonic game and just let the people who are Sonic fans give it a shot. There was also another game after Sonic X that I missed, but it didn't really pique my interest. But after that game, they revealed just more gameplay of Foam Stars. I was not interested in this game when they first revealed it, and I'm not interested in it now. The next game that they showed was a game that I think is an indie title. It might be, but it's called Dave the Diver. They showed just more gameplay of it, and they revealed that apparently this Dave the Diver is going to be interacting with Godzilla. So, yeah, I guess now would be the best time to do that since, Godzilla's really popular right now. The next game that they revealed is a game called Rising, and this game, right out of the back, reminds me a lot of Diablo. Just visually just didn't look quite as good. So it definitely had that Diablo-like dungeon feel to it. I'm not sure if I'd give it a try because I had a chance to play the latest Diablo game, and I kind of lost interest in it after about a little more than a month. So I'm not sure if this is a game that I would be sure to give a shot. The next two games were games that we kind of semi-knew about, but they just wanted to confirm and show more of them. They were Silent Hill games, with the first one being titled Silent Hill: The Short Message, which they revealed is available right now. But again, I've never been a Silent Hill fan, so this isn't something I'm interested in playing. But the next game they announced is the Silent Hill 2 remake. Now, again, not a Silent Hill fan, but I do know that people who are Silent Hill fans, they have told me that the two best ones that they played was the second and the third one. So it does seem like Konami is kind of following the path of Capcom in the form of they're taking some of their old games, they're remaking them, and they're re-releasing them with certain updates. And I'm sure that fans of the original will hopefully enjoy this remake as much, if not more, than the original. I won't be playing it, but hopefully they will enjoy it more. The next game that they showed is called Judas, and this is from the developers of the BioShock series. Now, it's actually been quite some time since we've had a BioShock or just anything BioShock in general, and this thing certainly did have some elements that reminded me a lot of BioShock, but just set in a different atmosphere. I'm sure to give this a try when it comes out, but I certainly do want to see more of it before I make a definitive decision on that. The next two games were PlayStation VR 2 games. I'm not a fan of PlayStation VR in general. I don't know anyone who has a PlayStation VR 2. In fact, any game store that's in my general area, I haven't even seen a PlayStation VR 2, so I don't know if it's popular or people are liking it, but they announced two VR games for Metroid Awakening and Legendary Tales VR games, so heck, I won't be playing these two games. The next game that they revealed is a game called Dragon's Dogma 2. Pretty sure this is supposed to be a popular game, but I'm not sure. I've never played Dragon's Dogma, so this is certainly a game that I probably will be skipping. However, the primary game that I was looking forward to learning more of was for the upcoming game coming out in March called Rise of the Ronin. Now, this was, out of any game coming out in 2024, my most anticipated game of this year. And now that I've seen multiple different elements of different gameplay styles, I can say that this kind of has a mixture of certain different types of games that I'm a big fan of. Now, I would say exploration-wise, this reminded me very, very closely to older style Assassin's Creed games, which a lot of people like myself have always felt that something like Ghost of Tsushima was kind of what an updated Assassin's Creed game set in Japan would be like. Now, the combat system was definitely very, very similar to Ghost of Tsushima. However, there were also some wide-scale battle areas that reminded me a lot of Dynasty Wars, especially some of the earlier ones between, I'd say, like 4 and 5, which because Dynasty Wars 4 is my favorite Dynasty Warrior games of all time. So when you take wide-scale battles like Dynasty Warriors, the exploration of older Assassin's Creed games with the combat of Ghost of Tsushima, that is a blender mix for certainly something that I think has the potential to be Game of the Year worthy. I'm excited to play this when it comes out in only, I'd say, a couple more months, and yeah, I don't need to see any more trailers of it. This is a day one buy for me, so I just hope it lives up to the hype. The next game that they showed was something I thought it was going to be, but when they finally revealed it, I was disappointed. They showed off some visuals and some audio of Until Dawn, and at that point, I was super excited. I thought we were going to get Until Dawn 2, because as far as I can recall, they did announce that they want to do an Until Dawn movie. So I thought, oh, they want to do an Until Dawn movie? Maybe this might be the proper time to make a sequel. Unfortunately, that is not the case. They just revealed that they are updating it a little bit and re-releasing it for PlayStation 5 and PC. I was disappointed. I would have liked a sequel. This is not something that I feel like going back and replaying. Until Dawn is an incredible game, so I guess anyone who didn't have a chance to play this when it first came out on the PlayStation 4, and I even believe they made a slightly updated version of that game later on that had some DLC content. So if you haven't had a chance to play Until Dawn and you want to give it a shot, apparently with some of these minor updates, then I would say give it a try. But me personally, I don't need to revisit it. The copy I have for PlayStation 4 works just fine. I can pop it in my PlayStation 5 and enjoy it just as much now as I did when I first played it. The next game that they also revealed was something I didn't think that we would talk about yet, but they finally showed some more story and gameplay for the upcoming Death Stranding 2. I really thought we would have seen more of Death Stranding 2 at the VGAs, but apparently they weren't ready. So we saw more of the gameplay. We actually finally saw some gameplay. We saw more of the story. And I have to say this, I'm a little bit concerned because gameplay-wise, it seems like we're just doing more of the same of the last game. My biggest issue with Death Stranding 2 was that it was a major grind, and it took a while before the game actually got good. Because from what we know, the primary character is going to be going to a new area and doing the same thing we were doing over the course of the United States. We were going to spot, setting chiral networks, trying to connect the country. Except this time, as far as I could tell, we're going to Mexico and we're doing the same thing we did. Gameplay-wise, they didn't really show too much. We were doing some basic shooting. We were avoiding BDs the same way. They introduced a few new characters that are going to be with us over the course of the journey. They showed more of the antagonists. They showed some pretty interesting cutscenes. But again, I'm really concerned that it's going to make the same mistake as Death Stranding 2, because I like Death Stranding 2, I really do, but I really hope that if they did make a sequel, they would add a kind of fun factor. And again, for me, when it comes to Kojima games, I've always enjoyed them more for their story than their gameplay. But now that he doesn't have Metal Gear Solid to fall back on and he's moving on from that, I really would hope that he would make games that have like a fun factor, and that's just my biggest for Death Stranding 2. I'm still gonna get this day one. If they reveal a collector's edition, just like I did with the last game, I'm gonna get that too. But I really do hope that they add some key elements that make this a much more enjoyable game and not so much as a grind as the first game did. Now, much to my surprise, after showing Death Stranding 2, they had Kojima come in and he revealed that after Death Stranding 2, he apparently is going to be working on a new action espionage game. But they didn't give us a name. They just said that he's working on another game. Now, as far as I could recall, he stated that he was also working on another game with at the VGAs, but apparently that was for Microsoft, I think. I'm not sure if this is that game, but all they stated was that, yeah, I'm working on another game. I don't have a name for it, but it's going to be like action espionage. So it does appear that Kojima wants to at least go back to his origins and do something that's kind of like Metal Gear Solid, but it does have some innovative elements that I will hopefully allow it to stand apart, because as we know, the Metal Gear Solid 3 remake is coming out later this year, and now that he's no longer with that franchise, I'm sure he kind of wants to go back to something that's familiar, but perhaps since it's his own company, he wants to do things his way. Perhaps he wants to have just a little bit more control and take it in a different way that he perhaps didn't have the power to do when he was Konami. But I really wish they'd given us a name. Just a name would have been fine. But yeah, I guess we're just going to have to wait a little bit longer until we find out what the next game after Death Stranding 2 is going to be. So those are my overall thoughts on State of Play. This was, again, much better than the last time. There's certainly a number of games I'm really excited for. And I would like to know, out of everything that they revealed, what was the one game that you were most excited to see and to play? Let me know in the comments down below. And like always, thank you guys for watching. You're awesome, and I'll see you next time.